Hello, everybody. A very good morning. Let me quickly open it on my phone to check if I can get all your comments. All right, cool. I'm able to see this. Okay, so a very good morning. My name is Amsa Venktesan, and I'm an IELTS educator with over 5+ years experience and have trained close to 750 students across the globe, which is close to 21,000 plus online hours of training. In this session today, we will talk all about the IELTS General Reading Type 5, which is matching headings. All right, that's great. So, all right, great. So, this is the Let's Crack It series, and in today's session, we will first begin by understanding the reading task. Well, this task is for about 60 minutes in duration, and you will have close to 40 questions. All right, the purpose of this will be where you will be asked to match the headings with the given list of passages. Well, this is pretty much an interesting topic, I would say, because most of the students would enjoy doing this because this is where you have to assign a list of heading or a set of heading which is given to the list of paragraph that you see. All right, so in the reading section, you will have 12 different types of questions that you might encounter, well, out of which one or two of these are exclusive to your academic reading section, but I thought it'll be worth the time to understand the different types of questions. The very first being matching headings or titles to the paragraph, identifying information which is true, false, not given, identifying writer's views or claims, which is your yes, no, not given, and this is the academic module. Okay, and this is the academic module here. Matching paragraph information, summary completion, sentence completion, short answer questions, note or table completion, flowchart completion, diagram labeling, multiple choice or list selection, and matching sentence endings. All right, so to quickly understand how this task is scored, well, I would always recommend my students to talk in terms of the number of right answers that you might have to get and not in terms of the band scores, because band scores are not in your hands, right? It all depends on the number of right answers that you're trying to crack. And I would still say the strategies that you use to arrive at the number of answers that you want. But however, for you to know all about the band scores and the number of right answers because they complement each other, you have to get a full 40 in the reading section if you have to get a band score of 9. And to get a band score of 8.5, you can probably afford to miss one answer and get around 39 scores. For a band score of 8, you have to work on 37 to 38 questions. Excuse me, 37 to 38 questions being right. And to get a 7.5, you have to work on at least 36 questions to be right. Well, I would like to stop here in terms of the band scores. And if you ask me the reason why, I will tell you that if you're trying to get anything less than 7.5, even after rigorous practice, that is not worth your time. Because if you're trying to get a band score of 6.5 to 7, that is not the actual reason why we are doing a visa interview test like this. Instead, I would highly recommend you to practice a lot. Take at least 1.5 months time. Don't rush. Don't be in a hurry to do the test. Just try to do the test. Take your time. Be relaxed and do as many questions as possible. Practice a lot and then do your test well. All right. So I would recommend stopping at least and getting 36 out of 40 because that will lead you to a way of 7.5, which is crucial. And if you're looking at improving your band scores and understanding what's the next course of action, I would highly recommend you to check out Unacademy Plus, where we have expert tutors and we train you on all of these tasks, all of the band metrics, band scores, and how you can increase these band scores with possible tips. And I have taken curated a few tips for you guys here today in this session. So just look out for those tips. All right. So, in terms of the reading questions, which we saw, this is what we have been seeing today. So, today we are, like I said, seeing the matching headings to the given list of paragraph. So, this is how the exact, the section looks like. Hello, Tanu. Hello, Mala. So this is exactly how you look at the matching heading questions. So it says, first of all, read the questions carefully. Read what it says, all right? So it says the reading passage has 5 paragraphs A to E. Choose the correct heading for paragraphs. So it says choose the correct headings for the paragraph. So this is a hint. That's why I always tell you read the instructions carefully, because that will lead you to a way where you will understand what to write. Okay, what's the question all about, even if you have no clue about it. So choose the correct heading for the paragraphs A to E. Write the correct number 1 to 9. So this is the list of headings that they've given for you, and you have the options A, B, C, D. You will do the reading passage A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever they've given you, and understand the main idea and the supporting idea of the passage, and try to match the passage to the list of headings given here. Read the passage, understand the idea, pick few keywords, underline few keywords to see what those passages are trying to convey. What is the idea of the passage? What do you get as an essence from the passage? After you complete one particular passage, are you able to probably write it down in a sentence or two? Are you able to describe that entire paragraph, sum it up into one sentence? If you do, then you will be able to find out the heading for that as well. I've had in my plus session, I've had a lot of questions from students yesterday, and the discussion was really interesting. And you must probably check that out. And a most common question that students asked me was that if I get confused between 2 or 3 headings, how do you think I can actually choose the answer? Do you have the same issue? If you have the same issue, just let me know. Yes, I have the same issue choosing, the list of headings. Just let me know. Yes, because yes, I'm taking a look at your comments. So if you feel that has been an issue, I would highly recommend you to first take a look into the passages. If at all you have a problem with passage A, and you probably think first, second, and third, answers would go for it, write it down next to each other. Now, circle some keywords from these 3 that you have made a note of. Circle some keywords and see if that particular keyword or a synonym of that keyword is there in the paragraph. If you don't find it, then it's not an answer. If you find it, yes, that's the answer. You will also have the rule of elimination. You will have the rule of negating, and you can find the answer. So do the scanning technique where you scan for keywords and do the rule of elimination. And you don't have an opportunity to skim the paragraph here because we are not doing any skimming on a big passage. So this will as well help you. So this is what we call the 3-tier strategy, my own strategy, which is called the 3-tier strategy. You skim, you scan, and you do the process of elimination to land to the right answer. So you then get on to the right answer. All right. So in this type of a question, you choose a heading from the list which matches a section or paragraph in the passage. And the skills that it asks you to do is you understand the aim of the section. You identify the difference between the main idea and the supporting idea. Because if you don't understand the difference between your main and supporting idea, you will not be able to choose the headings. So be careful about that. All right. Understand the general content of the paragraphs. All right. So these are a few other question types as to how the identifying information question type looks. And this is how your yes, no, not given question type looks. Your matching paragraph information, once again, summary completion, sentence completion, which says choose 1 word only, choose 2 words. All right. Answer short questions. I'm forwarding this a bit because we have done all of these in extensive. Also, we have done a lot of sessions in the Unacademy Plus, so just go and check that out. These are just the question types, and I just want to skip to the main concept of today. So this is how a note completion looks. This is how a flowchart completion looks. This is how the diagram labeling looks, because here you can see the actual diagram which is given here, and you will have an option, the box to choose the options from after reading the passage. And this is how multiple choice looks, where you're given a question with choices, or you will have a drop down that you can do. And then you will also have matching sentence settings, where after you read the passage, you will be given the opening sentences, and the closing sentences are here. So you have to match the closing to the opening sentences. All right. Okay, so some useful points that I have for you guys is, I want you to plan your the reading test with Unacademy. Obviously, your entire reading, your writing and your speaking with Unacademy. If you have any questions regarding the listening strategies, I would highly recommend you to hop on to probably the Unacademy app and ask me any questions that you have, because we don't do a lot of questions there, but we just do the tips and the plus. Don't expect to understand every single word. That's one other issue that I see students committing. It's okay if you don't understand every single word, and I want you to be realistic about the fact that you might not understand every single word, and that's okay. I don't want you to spend your time on not understanding, on the words that you don't understand probably. Instead, I want you to be realistic and say, okay, let me do other questions, or let me understand the overall gist and then condense the gist to that particular word. Instead, be realistic and do that. Familiarize yourself with difficult passages, which is again crucial. This is crucial because if you don't familiarize yourself with the three levels of passage, which is easy, medium, and hard, I would highly recommend you to just start with easy, probably do 10 questions and stop with easy, because medium and hard question types are the ones that you will encounter on the test. And then work on your grammar. The reason why I tell you to work on your grammar is because it will let you know, for especially the instructions where you see choose no more than 2 words or choose no more than 3 words. For question types like that, having proper command on grammar will help you, because you will write a paraphrased version of that answer. The question itself is a paraphrased version of the passage, and your answer should be a little twisted, and for that, knowing proper tenses will help you choose the answer. All right. Develop your vocabulary. Vocabulary will help you, because if you don't understand every single word, that's probably because you lack in vocabulary, and that's probably something which will help you in answering your questions. Develop speed reading skills. Like I said, you should practice the technique of skimming, where you tend to understand the meaning of a passage when you read the first two lines and the last line of that. Learn every question type. That is again important, because for you to ace the exam or the test, the IELTS test, you have to know every single question type. If you don't know the question type also, you might not panic, because you know how to answer a question. So learn every question type. Develop skimming and scanning reading skills. If you ask me what is skimming, skimming is simply for the passages, for understanding the meaning of a passage or a paragraph. You read the first two lines and the last line, and that's how you get used to what's called the skimming technique. Scanning is where you go to the question, pick a keyword, and come back and look for the keyword in the passage. That's the technique of scanning, simply put. Okay. And no matter what, be confident whether you have practiced quite well or you haven't practiced and you're just appearing for the test just because you want to try the test, which is not recommended. I would still suggest you to be confident. Do the test, because if you're not confident and you lack confidence, it becomes difficult for you to do the test, because even the answers that you know might confuse you, right? Here are some common problems that students have reported in terms of your matching headings question type. So they say they have a lot of information to go over in a very little time. If you again have the same issues, feel free to let me know in the comments that you also have had these issues, or probably if you're writing it for the first time, these might be some common problems that you might come back to me with. Okay, you have a lot to go over in a very little time. You have to match set of words from the heading to the text accurately. You have multiple headings which has the same meaning, and I just gave you the solution to that. After reading the first sentence, you're unable to grasp the topic of the paragraph. Generally, you will not be able to do it with just one sentence. You have to go over two sentences in the introduction, which is the first line of each paragraph, and the last line, to get the grasp of the topic, to get the gist of the topic. You're spending a lot of time on certain paragraph, highly not recommended, because I would recommend you, in case you're not able to find the answer in a paragraph, skip that for now. Finish all other answers. Once you're done with that, you would have already gotten an idea of what that topic is about. Then you can go and fix your answers. All right. The order of answers are not in the same order of the text. This is one topic or one question type where the order of answers will not be the same as the order of the text. So remember. So these are a few common problems that students have reported. And yes, if you have a question type, you should have a problem. If not, you're not doing it right. All right. Some tips that I have that I think you guys can go over would be, first, complete this question type, which is your matching set of headings, to get a general idea, because it will help you turn your answers much faster. So if you find this question type in your exam or your test, finish this question type first. It will save a lot of time for you. Don't read the whole paragraph word by word, like I always say, because it will consume all the time. First, the good method, like I said, would be the skimming technique, where you read the first two sentences and the last sentence of each of the paragraph. Also, you can briefly look at each of the paragraph, but you don't have to read every word. You can just scan for any words just to see, oh, this paragraph might make sense to me, or this paragraph might not make sense to me. Just feel free to read it out, or just strike out certain paragraphs, because you don't need any information from that. Remember, just to confuse you, most of these are very descriptive. They make no sense at all. So just remember that these might confuse you, so you need a lot of time. All right. Okay. If there are words that you don't understand, do not panic. You have to understand the general meaning of the paragraph. That's the requirement. Always do not panic. If you panic, you will not be able to, get the gist of the paragraph, just because you cannot understand. It's okay if you cannot understand. You can redo it once more, and the second time, I'm sure, even with the skimming or the scanning technique, you will be able to identify. Okay, so I want you to remember that even the native speakers cannot understand every word in the test. So if you're a non-native speaker, that's okay. All right. Watch out for synonyms. Like I said, they might have not given you the exact word, but a synonym of that word, which is the meaning of that word, would be given. So I want you to be very careful about that. Here is an example. For example, you find the word beautiful, okay, in the question, but you're trying to look for the same word beautiful in the paragraph, which is impossible. Instead, think about the synonyms right there when you're marking that keyword. It could be given as attractive, pretty, lovely, stunning, or any of these. Okay. If you find two or three headings that are similar, write them beside the paragraph. Choose one of the keywords and try to relate it. Again, use the process of negating, elimination, and you will, arrive at the right answer. If it's hard to conclude which one suits the best, just move on and come back to it later. Usually, you'll find it better when you've matched much more headings, and makes it easier for you. Don't rely on any prior knowledge that you have on the topic. If you have any knowledge about the topic, it's okay. Just forget it. You have to redo it, because they're testing you on the text provided. Don't read too quickly in the name of skimming the text, because that again wastes your time. And don't read the headings first, because that will restrict your thought, to think only about the words which are given. Instead, read the passage. This is one question type where you will read the passages first and come back to the list of headings. All right. So in terms of the strategies here, I want you to do this question. If it appears in the test, do this first. Don't look at the headings, read the passages instead. Do the skimming technique, where you do the first two sentences and the last sentence to get a general meaning. Match any headings that you find are very confident about and very close. For others, if you don't find it right, 2 to 3 headings, circle the keywords and find the answer. If you think you've spent more than 1.5 minutes on this question, no, do not waste your time. Just move on. You'll be able to find this answer once you match everything else put together. All right. Repeat the same process until you have found out all the other answers. Okay. For you, in terms of additional tips, which are a bonus, there are several question types, and if you find everything to be difficult, use the process of elimination. If you're confused about skimming, if you're confused about scanning, just use the rule of elimination, and look for any words where they say it's an example and they've boxed it out. Usually, whatever they say as examples could be the start of the paragraph, or it could be, a paragraph that pretty much matches the question, paragraph type. So you can still use the matching. Always read the instructions to see if you can use one heading more than once, because usually in this type, yes, they give you the opportunity to use the heading more than once. Sometimes this will help you skim the information, and once you've matched most of it, you will see that a sequence has been created in a few cases. So these are some examples. This is how the list of heading works, and you can see here that they have already said example is paragraph C. So this could be the starting, or this could be where it follows a chronological order, or it could be any of that. Okay, so these are a few other question types that you can see. They will say cross the heading section, cross the correct heading, choose the correct heading for each section from the list of headings, and you will have it. All right, so these are a few question types. So I hope this session was helpful. If you really like this session, I would highly recommend you to like this video, share, and subscribe to Unacademy IELTS YouTube channel. I will see you in another YouTube video, which I have scheduled in some time, and the topic is all about IELTS reading strategies where you do the true, false, or not given questions. I'll see you in some time. Thank you.